Rise, my mech army today. For today, we have a new tower in Monolith Tower Defense. The mech armory. It is the military spawner tower in this game. Something weird. I guess they decided that every single faction should have a spawner for some reason. I don't. Nobody really knows why. It's just that's the world we live in this game now. Every faction has a spawner. Um, and this was a raid tower, and so I only have Ascension 1 right now. One away from Ascension 2. But the thing about raid shop towers, they suck to farm. So is he worth it? And first off, just kind of a spoiler alert because I will showcase just a bit of a spoiler alert. Kinda. See, the thing is, military is in a weird spot right now in this game. Marine fell off, especially after getting a little nerf. Demolist, I don't know, just never felt that good in general. Shotgunner is okay for speedrunning, but that's about it. 50 caliber is way too limited with its range, the way its range works with the cone. It's so overall, military faction is just in a weird spot. The main two things, or a couple things to use, is radar, sniper, and mech armory, or maybe scout for early game. It's a good early game tower. Main thing though, mech armory is kinda the tower now, and this is one of the funner spawner towers in the game. Spawner towers are just fun whenever they get added, right? So what happens in the games play? I mean, obviously it's what you're here for. Is to showcase this tower, and you want to choose a long map. I like Pumpkin Fields. It's my favorite testing map. It's a little windy, but it's not super long. But it has water, it has cliffs. So you can test any type of tower. It's wonderful. And abilities, you don't have to use any specifically. It's not like, oh, if you're not running this ability, this whole loadout's trash. You can kind of just run whatever you want. I like running the radioactive abilities because they give good coverage. Um, can't win amalgamation mode. That's one thing I always look for in towers is can it be amalgamation mode? And yes and no. You can just use a standard military loadout anyway. Something to remember about spawner towers, you can place them anywhere on the map, and they will do their thing. They just spawn. However, I am going to be placing sonar for this thing. So something to note, really good curve on the upgrades. I love it's super cost-effective DPS. You can kind of just boom. I have really good tower for especially for 450. It's one of the cheaper spawner towers to place. Obviously, Frost Legion being the most cheapest, and Chem Plant still being really expensive, which is fair. So level 2, they spawn faster, which that's what it means. Most people keep asking, like, what does that even mean? It means it spawns faster, double HP, and 1/3 more damage. So really good upgrade. By the way, ignore decimals. If I'm not mistaken, decimals don't even work in this game. So it's not like every 4 shop does a bonus damage. It's basically just a fallacy. So it does 18 damage. Next upgrade, it gets hidden detection, 83 HP, and 50 damage. And for $2,000, especially this Ascension 1, I have mostly Ascension 3 towers, and even for Ascension 1, this is a really good beginner tower. And another really good positive, you can place 6 of these. A lot of towers, especially like Legion of Frost, you can place 2. These I think you can place like 5. So being able to place 6 and being able to get this radar tower to increase spawn rate, and the fact that Mech Armory has a really low spawn rate in itself, that kind of doubles up and becomes this really good tower. Like as you can see, you're barely even seeing enemies. Like they come and they just get shredded. I don't know how well I've been testing it out in raid mode 2 because for those who don't know, in the latest update, they made it so you can now go to this and make spawners change paths for which they spawn for dual lane maps. Before, you just had spawners go to this one set path, and the other, that would just be like one path where you'd have that level 50 player who only has spawners be like, I got left path, and then like you're struggling on the right, like bro, and he's like, nope, no can do, I only has spawners. It's like, okay, whatever, bro, but nope. Not anymore. You don't have an excuse. In fact, I'm so confident. This is a tower. Something else I see a lot of people never do with this towers like this. Make sure you're timing your skipping because they do once to die because they're constantly marching when they're not attacking. They will not stop unless they see an enemy. So you better consistently skip. Otherwise, you just get this giant train like this where they're all stacking up and they just die. Something else, there is a spawn limit for each. Obviously, it'd be way too overpowered if they could just constantly be stacking up. I think it's like 4 per one, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I see 4. I'm pretty sure that's for all of them. And something else, they don't upgrade. So these are previous ones, even though we have a Mark free. These are still all Mark 1s and 2s. So it's when they die, they spawn to new ones. So I'm gonna just save up money so I can just place down a higher tier mech armory. So do I recommend this tower? I apologize. I don't know what is up with my frames today. It shouldn't even be. It shouldn't be lagging. This is the first time I've lagged in this game in a while. And that was another thing. There were just lags with spawners. That was a really nice thing. Everyone always complained you would just break the game with spawners, and like spawners were just despised in this community for the longest time. I feel like now they're just really good spot. Like, look at this. This is just and this is one tower. But oh, I'm broke. Okay, never mind. I was about to be like, look, we're gonna get a nest on tier 2. There we go. Tier 3. We got another one down. The only problem, since these ones aren't spawning with the camo detection, camos will wipe us once they spawn very soon. And if you play this game, I will cover this game. And if you see me in lobby, by the way, this is just note to any players. Literally ask me for help. I don't mind. I like carrying people because it's actually genuinely fun. And people like me, I'm at the point, I'm not playing this game for progression. I'm playing this game for overkill at this point and getting ready for future updates. So here's one downside right here. We lost all of our momentum with that, so now we have to get new ones back. However, these are Mark Freeze, so these are the strong boys. Now we got those really strong upgraded ones with camo. Mama Shrimp spamming these. I might use an ability here. This is why we bring abilities, because I can do this. Boop. And now we're fine. That's why you might want AoE abilities to help clean up spawner enemies. Sure, some stuff like the Sub-Zero mission can, this can struggle. Um, I don't think mech base is good for stuff like that. It's really modes like this, it shines. So, I definitely would say this is one of the better towers right now. I'd say this is a solid A tier, maybe even, I don't know about S tier though. It's really weird. Really strong early game, really good mid game. But as you're gonna see, late game, it kinda struggles. It won't struggle in this mode, because this mode's pretty easy. It's meant to be beaten for beginners, supposed to grind it out, obviously. So it's meant to be kinda easy. But once you're at the point where, you're starting to deal with thousands upon thousands of HP enemies, that's a little bit of a different story. They also have lots of range. Like, wow. For a spawner tower, that's a lot of range. Really good. Here's the camo enemies. It doesn't even matter anymore because we got Mark Freeze. I was like, man, I don't know if I'll probably lose, but I didn't remember how late they came out. Another thing, I don't know if anyone else has been going for this, doing the commander quests has been not hard, they're just grindy. I definitely recommend it for beginners, obviously. Make sure you're grabbing a quest. But to anyone who plays this game, if you do see this video, I hope you get a better opinion. Because it's something about this game that, nobody really talks. And when they do, it's like, I saw like one YouTube short talking about this tower, and they talk about if it's good or not. They just like, look, it's a new mech tower. It's really cool. I'm like, yeah, it's really cool, but is it good? I'm like, because just to get to A1, where I have it right now, probably took me about 3 hours, I'd want to say. Because I almost have A2, but I'm like 1 away. So, you want to know if a tower's worth it if you're going to put in hours of time. I'd say it's worth it. It's definitely the best raid tower in the game. I mean, not much competition. Icicle Factory is a trash tower Glacial Artillery gets outshined by literally half of its faction. Like, it is just, it's not even close as a competition. We all know the real Giga Chad of the day is the mech base. So here's like a whale, look, lots of HP, but it just gets cheese grated because of the mechs. But here's the problem: they're all gonna start dying soon. We're gonna lose momentum. But until then, you get this absolute train, and you can just steamroll everything. It's really nice. Something else, level 5. Fires rockets at first enemy sighted. AoE rockets, that is. Really good, but since it's the first enemy spotted, sometimes it could be like a 2 HP enemy that just leads, and it only has 1 round of rockets, which makes it balanced, but it can just hurt. However, if you're like me and a loser and actually have tech points to spare, you have the tier 3 one, where now, when rockets hit an enemy, military towers deal bonus 15% damage to it, which is a good research point, but I don't know if I recommend it. Because again, you're not rocking this with military towers. The best combo for this is literally it's Frost Legion, because you get the freezes off of it. You want to be able to freeze enemies so you can stun them, extra time to damage them. That's what you're using with, that's what you're using with. You're not going to be using those fancy you're not going to use sniper. You might use sniper, but I don't recommend military faction. And I was kind of hoping the next military was a giant lifter unit, and it is, just not for the military faction. It's just a good tower, which is fine. It gives military play in general. It doesn't like revive them as a faction at all. But hey, we had military will live on with the mechs. But as you can just see here, the stacking is kind of absurd. We got our first level 5. Now to kind of showcase what it means, so note how spawn rate is 27 seconds. So we get level 3 going, and now it's 25. So we can basically make it so they're just spawning even faster. We get even more. We can get momentum building faster. That's why you want radar sonar. Not required, obviously. It'll be just fine, as you can tell, without it. But it definitely brings some shredding. I wish we had this like giant train for the mini bosses, but that's kind of fine. It seems like some of our spawners are dying. Yeah, they're gonna definitely die soon. Nice thing. Now we have even stronger ones, we have level 5s going. Which is like level 5, I showcased level 4, just more damage. Level 5, 200 damage, 200, and if you have their tech point, you get a level 6. 550 HP on the mech itself, really strong for spawner. Then 325 damage, plus the rockets, plus faster spawn rate. It's not even close. You're just gonna see this boss get absolutely shredded once we get momentum. Where's my? Okay, there's some Mark 5s. It's gonna be a little bit of a struggle fest early on. Oh, there's the rockets. So now all of our mech bases, it does count for mech base too, the rocket damage boost. So this is one really nice thing. It helps itself do more damage to bosses. As you can see here, just getting shredded. I don't think it's boss DPS though. Really good against, beefy enemies. Really good coverage. You can see there. Overall, good W. I don't know if this tower's that good, but you can always try. You can always try it. Um, and I hope you enjoyed. This is another game I will be covering, some more in the future. Right now, I just want to talk about the new tower. If anyone needs like, you know, hey, can you cover this? I'm struggling with this mode. Can you show a way to beat it? I will make a guide. Enjoy and have a good day.